Many of you have asked, how can I use Theory U and the U process in the context of my organization? Stakeholder interviews is one of the tools how to do it. And I have found stakeholder interviews very helpful. In fact, kind of surprisingly helpful, amazingly helpful in all situations where managers or leaders in organizations face network leadership challenges. That means that in order to be successful in your job, in order to accomplish the results that you need to accomplish, you need to change the behavior of other stakeholders that you do not control through hierarchy. And that applies to many of us these days, kind of in modern, complex organizations. So whenever you face that kind of network leadership challenges, stakeholder interviews may be a great tool you want to try out. Here's how it works. You make a list of, say, your top 5 or top 7 key stakeholders that you are currently dealing with. And then a list of the questions that you would like to explore with them. And then you make an appointment, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, something like that. And you basically go through the question and listen to their responses. That's basically all. I will give you an example of kind of 4 questions that I have been using in a global company where I am, for a number of years, have been helping newly appointed directors kind of to deal with their global context of multi-key stakeholder relationships, key stakeholders that they need to deal with that are outside of the reach of their own team, of their own kind of organizational boundaries. Number 1, what is it you're trying to create, and what's my contribution towards that? In other words, what do you need me for? So that's the first question. And that really switches the perspective, how you look at your own job from your angle on it, to seeing the same situation through the eyes of your stakeholder. So number 1 is, what do you need me for, basically? Number 2 is, what are the criteria that you use that help you to assess whether or not my contribution to your work has been successful or not? And number 3, if I could change 2 areas in my area of responsibility over the next 6 months, which 2 things would create the most benefit for you? So that gives you a whole bunch of new ideas, innovation ideas. And lastly, number 4, particularly if people are moving you into the job, you can ask, what were some of the systemic barriers and issues that may have prevented people earlier in my role to collaborate effectively with you or your predecessors? So that gives you a feeling for the organizational obstacles, for some of the systemic barriers that need to be addressed as you evolve the way of collaborating. What has been surprising to me is, because sometimes people say, well, I already know these responses because with my key stakeholders I have had many of these conversations already. In fact, most people say that. And then you insist and you say, no, just do it, kind of just, And then the same people come back and tell you, I cannot believe how much I learned in this conversation. And then I ask them why. I said, well, you told me you already know all these answers, and so what was different this time? And they said, well, that's exactly kind of the difference. We thought we know, and usually we always feel that we have to come across as an expert. We have to have the answer. We never give ourselves the permission to just listen to what the situation is, what the needs are, and what the suggestions are, without jumping in ourselves and providing already a solution before we listen to and attend to what the problem is. So, that's an example. Now, your situation may be a little bit different, so take your own, modify your own version of your 4 or 5 questions, adjust that to your own context. You have a great download on the website, kind of where everything and more than what I just said is captured, including the process steps. modify that to your own situation, enjoy the process, and let us know what you learned.